everyone. Welcome for. Start again. Let me start again.
Take two.
That's some of my words. We're putting outtake. Start again. Hello, everyone. Welcome to RK Football Talk. We're back for another episode, and with me today we have Stuart, we have Matt Ty, and we also have David. He is back on camera this week.
Hello, hello. Yes, I am.
I'm just
Good
back.
evening.
How are
I
we
haven't
all?
been here since for like 10 years. I just get and Matt up.
Yeah.
I feel like Drogba
Yeah.
returning to Chelsea. I need
Yeah,
some
yeah.
more pomp.
I'm Matt Ty, and whatever. Anyway,
Hang on
David,
a
your
minute. Hang
camera's
on.
back.
Hang on. Hang on. Let's try again.
Welcome back, Matt.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, what better place to start than obviously, of course, the FA Cup. I think is the best place to really start with this week. So we've had some shocking results, some dodgy VAR calls. Well, not even
Back
VAR,
on.
just dodgy refereeing, really.
Yeah.
I think should we start with Liverpool?
I guess we have to, don't we?
I mean, what happened, Stuart?
I don't. I think what it was is because he kind of done what he did against PSV in the Champions League, where he decided, okay, against Plymouth, we'll change, like, put our youngsters out there. We'll put, like, a couple of the players that need to get a bit of fitness and stuff, and thought, yeah, that'd be enough. Well, it wasn't, and and basically we just didn't look disjointed. Plymouth played their kind of like very like basically good like back three, and basically you couldn't find any space. We couldn't get anything going, nothing. So we didn't look like scoring in the entirety of the game. And I think Plymouth definitely. Congratulations, Plymouth. They deserved their win. They defended great. That penalty they got was, I don't know what Harvey Elliott was doing with that one. It's a bit like what was it? The defense of the idea is like, well, he was just trying to protect himself. Like, no, like, you're not putting your hands up like that. It's a blatant penalty. But even when they were 1-0, never looked like we're getting back into it. I don't know if it was just because of 10 different players, cohesion. I don't know, but yeah, it's not great. But Plymouth deserved their win, to be fair. So
Yeah, I'm not taking anything away from Plymouth. Looking at the Liverpool team when I read it out, and there's still some decent names in there, like Case, Kelleher. There was still some recognisable talent on there as well. Like
Harvey Elliott.
Harvey Elliott. I
Good
can
player.
understand ringing around the changes, putting on those bench players who would normally be in the Premier League or the Champions League, and thinking, on paper, this should be enough to be able to beat the 20th-ish place in the Championship. But I guess it almost similar to Chelsea, a bit too many changes, didn't make the cohesion work, and it just didn't really know how to play their way against a team that were well organised, well drilled, and had that consistency in a team.
Their bench
I
was
think-
quite light as well. Even the bench wasn't particularly
I
strong.
was quite shocked to the bench, to be fair.
Yeah. Do you reckon, though, Stuart, obviously being a Liverpool fan, I mean, are you that disappointed about going out of the League Cup? I mean, obviously the quadruple hopes are gone. It was never going to happen in the first place, though, was it?
No.
Honestly. But if there's one competition you could possibly maybe do without and not be too upset about, I think the majority of Liverpool fans would probably say, like, well, disappointing, but hey, there's bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it's one of those weird feelings. It's like, because we want to win everything. Obviously, we do. I mean, obviously, it's the quadruple talk seems to be coming along every couple of years now, but like it's all the time now. But like, I think because obviously that was our Achilles heel last couple of seasons, where it's just like constantly, like we run out of steam near the end because there's so many games we got to play. So, and I look at it from like squad. Was it fixture congestion? It's one less couple of games you can watch.
Exactly.
But you still don't want to lose to Plymouth. That's like near the bottom of the Championship. But I mean, I think it's one of those disappointing weekends. But if we obviously got that big game on Wednesday against Everton, if you win that, it will be forgotten quite quickly.
I think had you not overturned the 1-0 deficit against Spurs on Wednesday in the League Cup, in the second leg of the League Cup semi-final, lost that, and then gone out to Plymouth, I think more questions would have been raised. But the fact you're already in one Wembley final, you're still how many points clear of the Premier League. You finish comfortably top of the Champions League, and you've got Everton on the weekend. You guaranteed a weekends off after your Champions League fixtures now, with the FA Cup moving back to traditional weekend fixtures rather than the midweek stuff. It does have more pluses, but as I'm sure, like everyone says, I would love to win every competition that I'm in, and traditionally I prefer the FA Cup to the League Cup. So I was more annoyed that we went out to the FA Cup than the League Cup, because I feel like there's so much magic of the FA Cup, and I know it's always been spoken about recently with the getting rid of the replays. Like take Tamworth for example, they should have thoroughly had a replay against Spurs, but it doesn't happen. So I do love that sort of magic of the cup, because you do get these random upsets every so often, which is brilliant.
Do you think that this upset could go down as one of the biggest? Because with how Liverpool playing this season, they win the Premier League, say, do well in the Champions League, which it looks like they could do, win the League Cup. In that season, they've been knocked out by Plymouth.
One of those, hindsight kind of giant killing. I mean, it's a giant killing anyway. It is an upset. It is an obvious upset. But like you said, if they go on to win, a European double or even a treble, then Plymouth will look back and go, "We did well to beat them, even though it was their third string side." Hey,
Yeah, because it's almost similar to when Chelsea went out to Bradford in 2015. That Mourinho side ended up winning the League Cup and winning the Premier League.
Yeah,
the type of defeat it was, it suddenly went from we've lost to Bradford. Oh, Bradford have beaten Mourinho's champions of England and League Cup winners.
Exactly, and that's what I was thinking as well. I love Stuart's face there as Dave was talking about the possible treble. It was like, this could happen.
Hey,
giddy.
I was brought up at the times where basically like we barely won anything. So a chances of winning multiple trophies, I am always up for. So it's going to be great.
Well, another result I think we need to speak about is Man United's victory as well. I mean, it's a victory they definitely needed. They 100% needed that.
Oh yeah,
get themselves back on track.
Yeah, good for Amorim. I mean, the victories like this. I mean, obviously there was a massive controversy with the winner, Harry Maguire's winner at the 93rd minute.
Controversy.
Five guys were offside.
The man was in a different postcode.
It's weird. I mean, I mean, with that and other kind of VAR, or results that went a certain way due to lack of VAR being in the stadiums, it was a kind of a reminder of what things were like before VAR and why VAR, what the reason VAR came in the first place. Decisions like obviously that decision would have gone against United had VAR been in place, and just going back to that whole conversation about VAR and people being against it and stuff. The BBC Sport page did a poll today, and like 68% of people said that football is much better off without VAR, which seems to be a common trend these days. But anyway, but a good result for United nonetheless. A win's a win, and nothing really. It wasn't a great match. Leicester went ahead, obviously, and it was a good win and a needed win for Amorim and the side as well.
I think that when you say about VAR there, like I've heard a lot of people saying today that should they bring VAR like a round forward, so it starts from the fourth round, but then like you're then going to go, oh well, I can't start from the third round or anything like this. I personally think that it's not VAR needs to come in. It's the standard refereeing has dropped drastically in this country because of VAR. I do think.
Yeah, because VAR last season, I think, was only in the Premier League stadiums or grounds that were capable of it, like goal line technology. And then after the Man United result, the FA said, okay, we're going to bring in VAR from the fifth round, which feels like almost their way of saying, yeah, Man United got lucky there. We're going to make sure this doesn't happen again, which is kind of a weird cop-out in my opinion. But I 100% agree. I think the quality of the refereeing has completely dropped. They've almost gone back to like they're too scared to make a decision and almost reliant on VAR to get
they're leaning too much into it, and they might not be. They're probably not expecting themselves to have to make.
Also, this weekend we had the Six Nations, and we saw the quality of referees there in such a fast-paced game, and it's such an intense game as well because it's all rivalries. Their referees have so much better control. everyone knows what's going on because it's announced in the stadiums and on the TV. So you know exactly what they're looking at. The referees talk to each other. They're mic'd up. They can go, I'm giving this as a try. Can you tell me yes or no? I think it's this, yes or no. It's so simple. VAR's almost gone such the opposite direction because it's meant to be clear and obvious errors, but they're almost looking into such the fine nitty gritty detail where like toenails are offside. If it's not clear and obvious and it's taking longer than a minute to check, then it's not clear and obvious. Stick with go back to like in cricket, umpire's cool. It's not, if it's taking longer than a certain time, it's not clear and obvious, play goes on.
Yeah. I mean, that one in particular, like, is it like 4 or 5, and the linesman is right in line with them, and I don't know how he didn't put his flag up for that. But anyway, I'm not complaining.
What is it? I did not see it. I did not see it.
But yeah.
No, it's a shame for I think for Leicester as well.
Leicester, yeah. When you're on the receiving end of a decision like that, it's never nice, is it? But you know.
Because Van Nistelrooy needed a result as well. As much as we talk about Aaron needed a result at United, there's always already reports that Van Nistelrooy's fed up and Leicester can walk out. So I think getting a win in the FA Cup, and especially against United, I think that would have really helped. You hear about those games that change a season. I think it could have been one of them.
Yeah, I think that Ruud, he's a very, like, obviously very inexperienced manager at the minute. But this, I think, a cup run, even for a team that's not playing well in the league and needs to focus on the league, can always help, because then it'll like sort of, we're doing well in the cup, let's try and keep it going in the league as well, and it sort of brings the morale up as well. So yeah, it's a shame that they didn't.
The FA Cup chat, the draw's being made.
I was just going to say, the draw's being made right now. Man United, Fulham, Newcastle, Brighton.
Oh, okay.
Preston, Burnley.
Oh, Plymouth away to City.
Away at City. Oh, that's unfortunate.
Because you would have 100% been drawn against them, wouldn't you? Like, that's how it works.
Brighton off to Newcastle, so I'm glad I don't have to go up to Newcastle to see us lose.
Well, this is obviously the 5th round, is it? No.
5th round.
5th round, yes. So it's the 5th round. So you've got Nottingham Forest versus Ipswich. I think that's quite a good little tie there.
Yeah, Exeter or Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, they've got to be Exeter.
Oh, yeah, sorry, Exeter as well.
Games tonight, isn't it?
Sorry, got to give the underdogs a chance, haven't you, Stuart? Sorry. I
think if you take out the Manchester clubs, it's probably quite an open cup.
Yeah. I agree. I think Newcastle, I would say could be a strong favourite.
Well, the way they're playing as well, you can't rule out Nottingham Forest or Villa.
Yeah, Villa as well. They've got obviously Cardiff there as well. So, and Bill will always seem to do okay in the cup. I think they get to like the semi-finals some years back, and I think it was against Wigan the year they won it or something like that, wasn't it? Well, I say that recently.
Millwall got to the final, I think, against United and lost 4-0 because that's where the world really got introduced to Tim Cahill.
Yeah. There we go. A bit of football trivia there from Matt Ty. Well, another one, obviously, I'd like to speak about, and I know Matt Ty probably would as well, is the Chelsea game as well. Look, going out to Brighton.
I don't think we have long enough for me to talk about how pathetic that performance was.
It was painful.
We're playing a team that's just off the back of getting absolutely hammered 7-0. Playing a right back at left back who's getting shredded at the moment. We score after 3.5 minutes against a keeper who pretty much throws it into his own goal, and that's our only shot on target in the whole game. Are you having a laugh? That's pathetic. I'm not. I am annoyed that we went out of the FA Cup. I'm more annoyed about the performance that we put out. And Nkunku looks disinterested. Like, if he wants to leave, he's got to show that he's worth some money. With Jackson injured and Guyi injured, who are pretty much the Premier League and the Conference League strikers, this is Nkunku's big shot. And he just looked so uninterested. He was trudging around the pitch. Palmer tried, but Brighton, fair play to them, changed their formation from against Forest, had 2 in midfielders, and which able to nullify him, which made him have to go a lot deeper. Casado had an all right game, but I think Sanchez, again, I don't know why he's at our club. We bought Brighton's 3rd choice keeper to To do what? Drop howlers every other day? This is pathetic.
I think that the thing that worried me more than anything else was when we started losing the game. The changes made for me screamed, "I don't care about this tournament. I don't
We
care,"
have a very
and
interesting
that's
bench
not
as
good
well.
enough.
We have a very blunt bench because the people who probably would have played, the Disassis, the Felixes, probably Chilwell to a point, are all on loan. We've sent out the cup players because they weren't getting enough getting enough game time. But our bench, the average age of our bench was 20. It was ridiculous because we had that random Argentina kid, three from the academy, Madueke, and Enzo, who are the most. And then is Jorgensen the goalie.
Yeah,
I think Mares against West Ham we played on the weekend before.
yeah,
When we were losing, Maresca made quick changes which impacted the game. And annoyingly, Guyu and Jackson got injured. So that's probably one of them would have started in place of Nkunku, you would like to think, and maybe have Nkunku as his proper role for 10 rather than playing Palmer at 10 and having Nkunku as a 9. But it doesn't really work. I think Maresca at times doesn't really know how to make subs or when to make his subs because it's very predictable at the moment, especially with our wingers. Neto, Madueke, or whoever just goes forward, chop back, play back to midfield, and then it goes back across the back line, then it goes to the other one. We look best when we're playing forward football, quick 1-2 touch passing, which the Cities, the Liverpools, the Arsenals all seem to do really well. And we've hired a coach who knows how to do it, yet for some inane reason, we want to play 50 touch ball, which just slows the game down. It's almost like we have to counter, oh no, let's let them get back into their shape before we then try and have a shot. And by that time, it's closed down. I think our tactics need to be looked at. Something needs to be readdressed in the dressing room. It doesn't help that we've had a couple of injuries and our squad should still be in school. But they're Premier League footballers. They are paid to do a job. They should.
Yeah. I think I agree. I think the quality that you need and the experience you need in this side isn't there. It's not there, and there's too much pressure on Cole Palmer to play well. Like everyone keeps saying to me at work, like, would you rather a team full of like with experience across the field or one really good player like in Cole Palmer? You want the experience.
Yeah.
You need it. Like when football that he did, I don't think he'd have ever done it if he didn't have the likes of Kante behind him, Willian on the other flank, Cahill in defence, Courtois in goal. It just don't happen unless you've got those players to protect you so you can roam free. It doesn't happen.
Because annoyingly, we're probably building a squad for a couple of years' time. So now we're going to have to slump it a bit. I think we've been blinded a little bit with how good we actually are by the start of the season we had. Because almost going into the Christmas period, we were a game away of being top of the league. And I think everyone, including myself, thought, here we go, Champions League football. It's like Chelsea are back. Even the Chelsea fans are singing, we've got our Chelsea back. When in reality, we are probably knocking on the door of Champions League football at the moment, have a good cup run in the Conference League, and hope that the co-efficiency point means fifth place also is a Champions League spot.
Yeah, I think all told with Chelsea, I mean, I get what you're saying, especially about the result the other night. But thinking back to the beginning of the season, just the sort of feeling around Chelsea and just where they are now, I don't think many people, including yourselves, would have imagined how good a season Chelsea are having overall.
No,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think we got so swept up in it. Now it's almost like such a come down when actually we are probably fifth or sixth in the league. And if we just been getting those points, getting those results and battling through, it'd be fine. But the fact we went so up so quickly caught everyone by surprise.
Got used to those highs too quickly.
Yeah. Because everyone was saying, are Chelsea in a title race? And even the Chelsea players it's like mathematically, yes, but realistically, probably not. Like with the Liverpool fans, mathematically, they were in a quadruple. Realistically, they'll probably win 3.
Yeah. The one thing I do want to say though is that when it comes to the FA Cup and the League Cup, I think unless you are a team that is good enough to challenge for the Premier League title, or a team that's good enough to challenge in a European competition, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't actually go for a League Cup or an FA Cup. I don't see any reason why Chelsea
As in, just
took
go
the
all
approach
in
that we did
to
at the
try
start
and
of the
win it.
season. Yeah, because I get the thing is that, and it's bugged me for years, the top 4 seems like more of a trophy than an FA Cup now.
Oh yeah,
And it has for years. For me, that has to change. It has to change.
Because the League Cup and the FA Cup, if you get a team from League One or below, it's like, right, play the under 18s and maybe have one and stack the bench. So if it ever looks like it's going fruity, you can bundle them on.
Yeah.
But I think it's like the top four race has become a 5th trophy in the country. Just pure and annoyingly, it's purely because of the financial support you get from being in the Champions League and the funding from it. Every game is on TV. You're guaranteed at least 8 games. FA Cup, there are some cracking games that have not been on telly, so you don't get that TV money. And if you get knocked out really early doors, that's it, game over. You get a free weekend. So it's kind of like a conundrum. Like, do you focus on the money side of things, which will then have a better long run for your financial security, or do you go for the instant success of winning a cup?
And I think this is leads me on to the next team we need to talk about is Spurs. Like for me, top 4 for them is not a good enough season anymore. They have got such a stigma to win a trophy now that they have to win something.
Let's not get ahead of themselves. They need to be top half.
Yeah, I think
top
they need
half.
to finish in the top 4. That would be a miracle. Like, that would be amazing.
Spurs have got like Champions League, Europa League, Conference League, survival.
Yeah.
Let's finish 12th. That's a good season for them.
Yeah. Top 4 for them would be a miracle at this stage. But yeah, I know what you mean.
I am surprised that, well, I mean, by the time this podcast goes up, he could be out the door, but I am surprised that Ange hasn't actually been let go yet.
I think they're going to put all their eggs into the Europa League basket, and I think as soon as it all goes wrong with that, I think he could be out. Because his infamous "I win a trophy in my 2nd season" is technically still on. It's just incredibly unlikely.
Yeah, especially if the performances don't improve as well in the league. Obviously results aren't going well, but just some of the performances have been so lackluster.
Because they didn't even muster a single shot against Liverpool.
No shot on target.
You're 1-0 up at Anfield. Yes, I get you want to protect the lead, but as soon as Liverpool get a goal, right, we've got to start playing football.
No reaction. Yeah.
There just seemed nothing happen. Yes, they probably didn't help that the fact they've almost got half their squads on a injury bed.
Yeah.
Or suffering from food poisoning, which feels like I'm having a flashback to 2006 with Lasagna Gate. But like, there's still proper good footballers there. They've also got that. They've just signed that Matisse Tell on loan from Bayern, who's no mug either.
Yeah.
Because surely Big Ange going into that dressing room before playing Aston Villa is like, right, we've had a bad week. We've knocked out the League Cup. We didn't do so well in the league. We're playing a Villa who's a bit iffy at the moment as well. Let's be fair. I could only get away with that because Carl's not here.
yeah.
Let's try and go at them. Let's quieten the Holt's end, because if the Holt's end get up at us, they're just gonna go in their shell. And what happens? 48 seconds they concede.
Yeah, I think if the players are not reacting anymore to that situation, it could possibly mean that they're starting to lose faith in the manager himself, which is the beginning of the end for any manager. If the team stop playing for you and stop wanting to get up for these performances, or put in performances in games like this, you've had it.
So here's an interesting one to put forward to all of you. Which is a harder job, the Man United manager or the Spurs manager?
Well, the Man United manager has more eyes on you, and there's more focus, media.
I guess there's more eyes, but Spurs are still expected to at least win a cup.
Well, they're not these days, are they? They're not expected to win anything.
There's more pressure on them because they've got to succeed in that brand new shiny toilet bowl stadium.
Yeah. Well, like nowadays, I know what you mean.
My God. Toilet.
No, I know what you mean. With
it's not a toilet.
however much
I-
it costs, that magnificent stadium, yeah, they should be kind of aiming to win something. But yeah, there's a lot of pressure on them now.
Yeah, I get your argument because I was actually speaking about this with a couple of friends earlier. I think the Man United job is harder because when you look at the squad as a whole, I think that if you were to compare both teams and say you done a combined starting 11, I think you get more Spurs players than you do Man United players.
You mean currently, as in with all of injuries aside and
If
all the
everyone's
rest
fit
of
and
it? So
healthy.
Yeah,
Tottenham's
injuries
strongest
aside,
11,
all
United
that sort of stuff.
strongest 11. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, more than
If
likely.
if I'm honest, like the ones I can think off the top of my head who I would have over the Spurs players is Onana. I would have Onana over I forget his name now. The Spurs, the number one
Vicario, yeah.
Vicario, that's it. And I would have Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, and aside from that, there's not really. Would I have the centre
I
backs?
can't think of one that stand out.
I might.
No.
I'd probably swap Garnacho for Werner.
They play in the.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Maybe Ahmad.
Yeah.
Yeah, at a push. Yeah, I'd certainly say there's more.
But yeah, we get it. So I think from the fans' perspective, there's probably more pressure on one club than the other. But I think from the boardroom side, I think Daniel Levy is craving that trophy, and the fans are calling for his head. They're not calling for Ange's head; they're calling for his.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You hear all the chants, and they're more so about the board and Daniel Levy than they are about the players or the manager. Like there's a lot of pressure coming down on Daniel Levy now more than ever. Yeah. I don't know.
I think
if Ange can see out the season, to be honest, if things continue as they are, like you said, if they get knocked out in the next round of the Europa League, and if performances don't improve in the league, then I don't see why he wouldn't be booted.
Yeah.
Who's out there though? That's the thing. I think that's one of the reasons why. Sorry, Matt. That's probably one of the reasons why he hasn't been sacked yet. Is that there probably isn't a suitable replacement out there to come in right away.
Eric Ten Hag.
Oh yeah, get him in. Why not? Bring Eric back.
Well, he does win
Mason.
cups.
Would he what?
Well, Ten Hag does win cups with clubs, so because he won with you.
But, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, get him in there.
Spurs still haven't replaced Harry Kane. That's their biggest thing. They haven't replaced Harry Kane. They're relying on Son, who's a winger, and Richarlison, who had one good season at Everton, and even that was 14 goals.
I do think that Dominic Solanke is showing not traits that he can replace Harry Kane. It takes a lot to replace a player like Harry Kane, but I think Solanke is a good player who's going to score you.
I think
around 15 goals a season.
Solanke, I'm going to liken Solanke to Lukaku, and let's hear my thought process. Solanke and Lukaku have both played for two relatively big clubs. In Lukaku playing for United and Chelsea, and Solanke's also came through the Chelsea academy and also came through Liverpool. When they played for those type of possession teams who are free flowing and quick, they really struggled with form and goals and positioning. When they played for the battle hardened relegation doggy fight teams, your Bournemouths, your Evertons, your West Broms, that's where they thrived because they had to rely on other factors, which is a baffling thing because you would have thought those type of players would love having at the time, like your Hazards, your Matters, your Di Marias, Garnachos, Medawekis, or whoever in those positions, pinging in crosses, making the runs for them just to slide it across and tap in, and yet it didn't work. So I think Solanke, yes, he's showing glimpses of it, but this is his third bite of a top 6-7 team. And I think this is probably make or break for him. Otherwise, I think he will just sort of always be one of the great what-if strikers. Because when he was at the Chelsea Academy, him and Tammy Abraham had got 44 goals in a season. Tammy Abrams continued that and is now at Roma on AC Milan on loan from Roma, who, fun enough, knocked him out of the Italian Cup the week.
The night, yeah.
And Solanke, I think, needs to really hit the ground running with Spurs, certainly for the rest of the season when he's back fit and going in next season. Otherwise, I think Spurs will see this as 60+ million investment down the drain, and he will be off to clubs that are in that mid-table area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah, no, that's actually a fair argument, to be fair, when you put it that way. I think that at Chelsea, he
was hardly
never
used
really
at
got a
Chelsea,
big
but
shot.
that's
Yeah,
unfair to him. But he
yeah,
then left Chelsea for free, went to Liverpool,
yeah.
and to be behind Sturridge. And when he played, I actually don't know how much he actually played. I think he played in the cups because there was like him and Barini at the time, which is a major throwback.
Fabio Barini.
Fabio Barini, come on. Sunderland's hero for like a
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, yeah, yes, he was. Yeah, under Di Canio, weren't it?
Yeah,
That annoying celebration he would do. That
the
I
biting of
hated
the
that.
hand.
I hated that.
So, but yeah, he was.
Sunderland
Oh, yeah,
was
that's
a weird club back in the day. They would be doing really
Oh,
badly,
did ya?
sack their manager
Oh.
just before the Tyne-Wear derby, then win the next 5 on the bounce and stay up.
Yeah. So that famous Defoe goal, wasn't it? The
Yeah.
volley
Yeah.
done against Newcastle.
Right before
yeah.
half time, yeah.
Yeah.
Very much.
But I think the other obviously League Cup semi-final with Newcastle United. For me, obviously, it's a big result that didn't go Arsenal's way. Does it actually highlight how reliant they are on a player like Bukayo Saka now, though, when a result like that happens?
I think to a point, maybe yes, but also at the same time, it still screams out that Arsenal don't actually have a proper striker, and they haven't done for what feels like forever since they sold Giroud to us. Lacazette tried to be it, but then he went off to Lyon. Aubameyang had one good season, then fell out with everyone, and then we took him for some reason, which didn't really work. But they've got Kai Havertz, who sometimes can score amazing crackers, sometimes can't hit a ballon with a banjo. So it's very weird. They've got all the creative players you need, like your Odegaards, your Martinellis, your Sakas. Declan Rice can ping a ball. But if there's no one up there who's lethal enough, what's the point?
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't the whole striker thing. I mean, at first I would think, especially earlier in the season, like they clearly do need a sort of a clinical number 9 because Kai Havertz isn't cutting it clearly. But I don't. The more I think about it, I don't think that would be the answer to all of their problems. They're the second highest scorers in the league at the moment. Goals clearly aren't an issue for them. I mean, when the ball does go up top to someone like Havertz and he fluffs his lines, like he did a couple of times against City, and granted he did score in that game, but when he misses chances like that, you go, oh goodness me, they could do it someone else. But I really don't think it would be the answer to all their problems.
I don't think it's the answer to all their problems, but I think it would
help, but
ease the pain because when going into a game against Newcastle, they were already 2-0 down. It wasn't helped with Martinelli going off injured, but they almost resulted to almost like 1970s football. Let's try and break them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They did, because Declan Rice was quite lethal towards the end of the game, wasn't he?
There was a couple of Arsenal players who probably were quite lucky to stay on the pitch, and a couple of Newcastle players who were lucky to walk off the pitch.
Yeah, yeah. I'll tell you one player I've been really impressed by recently is Dan Burn. He has been
he's just
really good.
You can look at that Newcastle team, and you can see almost go through every player that they are having a really good season. And it pains me to say it, considering their fullbacks are both former Chelsea Academy players of the years who should still be on our books, but we decided to keep the man with the curly hair and a man who's more injured than me.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think that Newcastle keeping Isak is a big deal for them. Like if they can get into the Champions League this season, if they can get into a Champions League spot this season, and let's say they win the League Cup, surely you would think that if it was Isak, do I want to leave? By going to Arsenal, am I actually going to achieve anything?
The best case scenario for Newcastle would be keep them to the end of the season, win the League Cup, fight for top 4, get thereabouts, and then sell them for 150 million. So get the use out of them for this season, and then just get the absolute.
That sounds like a Chelsea transfer, and as much as I would love it to happen,
it does, doesn't it?
As much as I would love it,
because I think it's very unlikely, especially if it continues on the form that he's on now from now until the end of the season. It's very unlikely he'll stay at Newcastle this summer. He'll be picked up by someone. So I think Newcastle have to look at him and go, and Eddie Howe look at him and go, let's get the most out of him this season. Let's win a trophy while we can with him in our side. and then we'll get an absolute.
It's almost like West Ham a
performance.
few years ago with Declan Rice. Like, he will leave.
Yeah.
Let's finish on a high
Exactly,
and milk
yeah.
him for as much money as we can.
Yeah, I think that's what Newcastle should be aiming for.
I mean, the stats. I've just seen some of his stats here. He 22 starts. He's just in the Premier League. 22 starts, 17 goals, 5 assists, expected goals 14. So he's obviously scoring the majority of those chances, which is fantastic. And I know it's just, I always admire this as well. His disciplinary record is fantastic as well. He's only got 1 yellow card, which means he's not a player that's going to get like Diego Costa, who's going to get involved with everything. He very calm head at the front, and that's exactly what they
Diego
need.
Costa was a rare breed.
Going around for some random
liked
reason, elbowing
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
I like watching him.
He's still only about 25, so he's not young. He's not young. He's also not old. He's just hitting that prime bit of his career where they say between 25 and 29, where he's just going to be phenomenal.
So, Matt, you said he has 17 in the league, right?
Yes, that's correct.
How many does Salah? How many is he behind Salah? Like, how is he in with a shout for the Golden Boot? Well, he must be.
He's got to be, yeah. I mean, he could have a 5-goal haul against Southampton.
Yeah, exactly.
Have they got them to play again?
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Salah might be 18 or 19.
He's on 21.
Oh, 21. Oh, well,
21
well,
Salah. So
he's well in there. Yeah.
Four behind, and you got Haaland on 19, Chris Woods on 17. It's another player that is having a great season, and then Brian Mbumo on 14. I mean, that's a good return as well.
Doable for Isak. You can get that Golden Boot.
Exactly, yeah.
Very
but
doable.
I do agree with Matt. The 150 million you just said straight away there, it does stink of Todd Bowley.
Screams of Todd Bowley just going,
money. Yeah, here you go, and isn't a 10-year contract.
Yeah, or like the Caicedo one. What was it when you were trying to outbid Liverpool and you paid way over the odds for Caicedo? What did you pay for him in the end? Like
106,
115 million.
Was it that? Yeah,
yeah, because it was more than Enzo
ridiculous.
Fernandez, and he was 108.
Mental.
He was so yeah.
at the moment, I would say Caicedo has been more worth it than Enzo.
Yeah, yeah, in some way, yeah. Don't get me wrong. He does have glimpses, Enzo, where he does show that really good ability, but then at the same time, no, it's a lot of money.
Showing me like glimpses of like a Kante Makaleli, where he just sort of runs around everywhere, will fill in the random positions where he needs to be. Like, there's a part of the season he was playing at right back because Gusto was banned and James was injured again.
Yeah.
So he was just like, I'm playing right back now. It's like, okay, fine, do a job. And he did.
One topic I want to speak to you guys about, and obviously it was after, not this weekend, the weekend before, with was it Ndai, his celebration against Brighton.
Oh, the seagull one.
And all this talk about goal celebrations being dogged out,
regulated or kind of
How
ridiculous.
Oh my!
Just the most ridiculous thing.
I love Jamie Vardy going up to the Spurs fans, just sort of tapping friendly badge.
I've got one of these.
Yeah,
that's the best thing ever. I love that. And what was the other one about? Was it Lewis Skelly imitating Haaland's celebration? And what they want to curtail. What is it? Just celebrations that might wind up the fans, or whip the fans into a frenzy, kind of thing. But those are the things that you love about when you watch football. That's what you want to see.
Adebayor.
Bit of needle.
Adebayor against Arsenal.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Running the entire length of the pitch. Like things like that are great.
If the FA go this way, how long until because obviously there's away end and the home end. If you're on the away team and you score at the home end, how long until you're just banned from properly celebrating where you scored your goal? Because that always winds up fans. Because they always run to the corner, do a knee slide, have a hug. And there's always that 8-year-old kid giving them fingers because it's like, you've just scored against my team. Like, how long until they rule that out? Because it's inciting the fans. It's part of
the one I understand is that when the players go to the edge and they actually jump into the fans, I get that that's why they should be booked for that, because that could cause a bit of trouble. But I think anything beyond that is perfectly fine. I don't understand this whole sanitization celebrations and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, as long as you're not cancenaring a child, you're fine. Play.
Yeah, as long as you're not drop kicking people in the face, like you're not doing too bad. Yeah, just
Cantona
as you
style.
are. Yeah.
Kung Fu kick.
Yeah.
What? Bring that back. Bring it back.
What, drop kicking kids in the face?
No.
I feel like there's some officials who need to have a word with Cantona though, and just let him deal with them.
Yeah. But it's
but silly.
the reason you don't like the mocking is because it's not your player.
Oh,
If it was your player doing it, you've got no problem with it. But once it's your opposition player, you don't like it.
I don't know. I didn't really enjoy when we beat. Who was it? Was it Black? No, who did United beat last year in the FA Cup on penalties? Just
Coventry.
Was it Coventry? Yeah, and then the penalty shootout, and Anthony gives it the big end to the players, running away like as if he didn't nearly get knocked out by bloody Coventry in an FA Cup semi-final. Like, and he's like, yeah. Like,
I remember that. Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of that. It's like, oh mate, reel it in.
I kind of get your point though. When it's not your players, you're more annoyed. Like as a Chelsea fan, the number of times I've seen McTominay or Herrera sort of man marking and just doing those niggly fouls to really break up the play, or Fellaini coming in all elbows in a corner, obviously really irked. Mainly because why aren't we doing that?
Yeah, exactly. And the reason I say about Costa is because I always remember when he was at Chelsea, there were fans of the opposition that would say, like they hated him. They hated it when they played against him. But I'll tell you now, if he was on your team, you would have loved him. It was because
absolutely
you want him on your team, but you hate playing against him. And it's the same sort of thing. That's how I feel with the goal celebration. So yeah. But well, obviously this week we did have some news obviously come out with Marcelo, the Real Madrid legend, has now retired from the game. And shame, he was like fantastic fullback. And would it be fair to say that I wouldn't say he's the best, but would it be fair to say that he could go down as one in football history in terms of fullbacks?
I think, well, he's certainly one of the best left backs I've ever seen. And being a part of that Real Madrid side that won sort of, 5 or 6 Champions Leagues in the space of however many years. He should go down as one of the best left backs, one of the best defenders, and certainly one of the best left backs ever to play. Possibly Real Madrid's best ever left back. Again, the best one I've ever seen. I don't know what you think, Matt, but yeah, I don't think there's many that would be above him. Certainly in terms of trophy return alone, but just how good he was going forward, even defending. He had everything he was a complete player up and down that left side for 90 minutes. And I still remember, was it the 2014 Champions League final against Atletico when he scored, I think, the third goal when they won 4-1. Just the energy he had. I think that was in like it was in extra time in the Champions League final, and he just ran through Atletico's defense and put the ball away. He just had bundles of energy, and yeah, he was one of the best I've ever seen for sure.
Yeah, when I saw we were talking about Marcelo, I 100% agree with David. He's certainly up there as one of the best left back defenders we've ever come across. They've got to be thinking like some of the other best left backs we've seen. Obviously, a bit of bias. Ashley Cole's got to be England's greatest ever left back. Doing it for Arsenal, then coming over to Chelsea, and then continuing that form, winning the Premier League, League Cup, FA Cup, and Champions League, and playing that whole game in Munich against Munich, and then thinking about Munich, Philipp Lahm.
Yeah,
Philipp Lahm. That's someone I actually forgot about. Yeah, that's a
phenomenal left back. Never sent off in his career, which is very rare these days. And when Guardiola took over at Bayern, sort of redefined his position to almost be more like a left wing back. When he was coming towards the end of his career, to still maintain that energy to go up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah,
he's one of those you think, yeah, fair play. He was quality and did it for Germany as well for years.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Philipp Lahm has the World Cup, so that's probably one up on Marcelo for that. But no, I think Marcelo for what was it? Well, I don't know. You guys might be able to say for sure, but 5 or 6 league titles, is it? 6 Champions Leagues, a whole host of other trophies. Like he's just
The thing is that
ridiculous
the
stuff,
Real
like,
Madrid debate was always interesting because yes, they were winning the Champions League, but at the time, Barcelona and Atletico at the points were also just dominating the league. They almost put all their eggs in that one basket. First to win the Decima, and then just sort of like, right, let's just see how many we can get.
Yeah, exactly. And I think another player, I can't remember if he was right or left back, but for me, he has to top it if he is a left back. This is Paolo Maldini. If he
was
he
right
was
back,
definitely
wasn't he?
was he right back?
I know he wore number 3.
He wore up.
I think he was
I
right
know he
back, I
wore
might be
number
wrong.
3.
I want to know now.
I'm
Yes,
searching. I'm searching.
Come on, I need this because I've been arguing, saying today that
Centre back
he
or
is
left back?
Right.
to go in the
Go
middle.
for it.
He plays everywhere. He plays in
Yeah.
goal.
Left-sided
Sky.
centre back. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me he tops it. He 100% tops it. He done everything for me. But I think Marcelo, when you look at his career and what he achieved, he was a big part of that defense and was there for a really long time. There's no argument for me when it comes to probably greatest Champions League. He would definitely be in that argument, but I don't know. He's not greatest of all time or anything, but he could be in that argument. He'd be one that comes up.
I think if he had managed to win the World Cup with Brazil in 2014, when it was in Brazil, you could possibly have an argument to say that he's possibly the best ever left back in the modern era. But obviously, that one that famous infamous 7-1 against Germany.
Yeah, and
didn't quite go down that way. Yeah,
Philip
Germany.
Lahm was in that team.
Yeah, that's quite right. Yeah.
But would you say that's what separates him from Roberto Carlos as well?
Marcelo, the success with the national side. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
No. But there's actually one more topic I actually wanted to finish on in a way. It was an interesting one that I heard on TalkSport. Simon Jordan was actually talking about it. He was saying about, is it time that Sky not give up, but Sky has its own
You cut
streaming
out there
service.
for a second.
You completely cut out. I missed what you were saying.
Okay, sorry. So with the Premier League, how successful, how much money it makes now, is it time for them to go, right, thank you for the launch pad, Sky, but we're going to come away and have our own streaming service?
As in the Premier League have their own exclusive streaming service, or share the rights out to other, or have their own.
No, they have their own streaming service. What would your thoughts be on that if that ever happened?
Initially, I don't know what difference it would really make. I mean, they would obviously. What is it? What was the latest package they got from Sky? Was it 5.7 billion or something? For the next however many years.
Would the change allow them to show the 3 o'clock games then?
That's because I think if you was to come away from Sky and you wanted to benefit really from it, I think the 3 o'clock blackout, I think would have to come away for them to really benefit from streaming Premier.
Is that the only benefit there would be?
Sorry?
Is that the only benefit there would be?
Probably price as well. If they'd done it for a good price as well, I think they'd have to do it for like a good price to tease people away from Sky.
I don't think Sky would almost let them go because Sky's lost a lot of football rights over the last few years. They don't have the Champions League anymore. They've got the EFL. They don't have any of the only international football they still have is the Bundesliga, which is great to watch, but it's not that much. They lost the cricket rights to TNT, and I think Sky won't let them go. I think the Premier League almost knows Sky will pay whatever it wants to keep the Premier League going, because that is Sky Sports' biggest selling point.
Yeah.
Because if you take away that, the biggest thing they have is probably the golf and then the Formula One.
I think as well, the Premier League would have to replace. I mean, it's not just obviously the broadcasting rights, but it's the shows, it's the pundits they have.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the Monday Night Football, they would have to replace that with another show with different pundits. I don't know if pundits would move across. I don't know, but that's one of the largest appeals of Sky is the personalities they have on.
Because
for each
Boxing
game
Day,
and-
Boxing Day was like the first time where Sky didn't have the biggest viewing rights, is because Jess Stelling and Chris Kamara were on Amazon.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
things like that do make a difference when it comes to people tuning in. So they would have to consider that.
I think it's an interesting one because the Sky and the Premier League almost go hand in hand together. That they work really well together. I think if the fixture timings changed, I don't think there should be too much issue. But the 3 o'clock blackout is the biggest sticking point because they argue that if all the Premier League games are on at 3 o'clock, people aren't going to go watch non-league games. Well, people go to watch non-league games anyway. Like it's always going to happen. There's always football fans who will go to watch their local club if they can't get to the game. Because I don't know about you, I'd much prefer watching live sport than sitting at home eating a bag of crisps watching it on the telly. I find myself I can get really distracted really quickly, but that's just my mistake.
But I don't ever see the 3 o'clock blackout going anytime soon. I don't see it going anytime soon because there's not enough of a like protest against it to take it away. So I don't see that happening anytime soon. And like the services you've got these days to watch these games, I think that it's a thing of the past, but it's still present in so many ways as well. So yeah. But well, I think that is it for this week, everyone. Like, so great to have you back as well, Matt Ty, of course.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome
Great
back,
to have
buddy.
you back. Yeah, welcome back. Great to have you back, and good to see you again, David, on camera as well.
Yes.
This is him. This is what his hair looks like without the headphones.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's why I should see David's
Nice back and
face.
sides there. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it would be the first time.
I think this is actually the first time I've seen your face.
Well, it will be actually, yeah, because it's always been audio up to this point. Yeah. Well, here I am.
Yeah.
I know.
There he is. This is
All right.
David. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe all this content. And let's say goodbye then. So goodbye, Matt, in the top corner just here.
Goodbye.
And then I've got David down here.
See you later, guys.
Cheesy as anything, but you know. But take care, everyone. See you later.
Bye bye.